So we come to now understanding the components of attitudes. So there are different components that has been explained to us by different methodology. So there are different frameworks or the models which brings out the different models or components of the attitude. Overall idea is like by understanding this, you are trying to understand what is attitude, how the attitude gets formed, etc. Once you understand this, then you are in a position to influence or change. So that's the gist of this. These are those 5 models. We are going to get into them one by one. So I'm not explaining it right out here, but let's take the first one, tri-component attitude model. So tri-component attitude model, as the name suggests, has 3 components. We will cover as we move forward. Major components are a cognitive component, an affective component, and a cognitive component. Cognitive is all to do with the knowledge, information processing. Affective is all to do with the how you are inferring and concluding things, etc. And a cognitive is all behavioral. So now moving this cognitive component, it consists of a person's cognition. Cognition is understanding. That is a knowledge and a perception that he acquired by a combination of a direct experience with the attitude object. We have understood what is attitude object and related information that he obtained through various sources. So various sources of information on one hand, his direct experience on the other hand, enables him to infer, enables him to build opinion. So that's what is the cognitive component of an attitude formation. So that's an attitude formation stage. Example out here given to you: cognition, affect, and cognition. Though it is showing you each circularly connected, but it starts with cognition, affective, and cognition. So let's understand this a little more. This knowledge and resulting perception that it builds frequently take the form of a belief. That is our understanding. When we arrive at an inference where we derive, it forms our belief. That is, the consumer believe that the attitude object, that is the brand, the product, or organization, possesses various attributes. They have certain attributes. That specific behavior will lead to specific outcome. Our cognition tells us that if certain attributes are present, that means the affective response and the behavioral response will materialize as expected. Consumer's belief system could be just complex, much beyond the imagination. So just to give you an example, the cognition that I have about, say, Tata Group of companies, very ethical organization, built from the scratch. They've set the standards for ethics and social service in the society. So my attitudinal this thing and the cognitive this thing will be there in the next situation where nation will be in the disastrous condition. That group will be the first one to come forward and lay the helping hand. Now there's a result because my cognitive this thing that I have inferred from the past experience or the data makes me believe, makes me conclude, infer that this is a group which is committed to it. So the next time any such situation arises, they will be the first one to move in. So that's a tri-component attitude model. This gives you an idea. There is a mouthwash, Scope. There's one brand called Scope, and the second is Listerine. And how you read this? So what dentist has to say? What about the breathe? About the taste? That is a feedback from the consumer, and the strength, and same is for taste, breathe, and strength from the Listerine. And then you can read this. So dentist recommends it. Fights bad breath. Taste sweet. That is a soft drink like. And long refreshing feeling. Vis-a-vis the Listerine, taste like medicine. So there is the first this thing which is a negative. Fights bad breath. So here's positive. Long refreshing feeling. There it has been put in negative because the same is present as a strength in the competition. Okay. So this is how when you form your this thing, this is a belief which is coming. Okay. This is a subject, attitude, object, which is a scope, and under that these are the attitude attributes, as we spoke about. Okay. And then this is a belief that is formed. Overall evaluation, then it goes in favor of scope. So people, it is said that attitude is favorably poised for the scope, vis-a-vis negatively poised for the Listerine. Okay. Coming to the affective model, that is the second component under the tri-component attitude model. Consumers' emotions or feelings about a particular product or a brand constitutes the affective component. So after I elaborate, after I have cognitive inferences made based on the information I have and the experience, I form certain emotions, I form certain feelings about a particular product and the brand. That's an affective component. I am either favorable feeling I have or I have a negative feeling towards that. So what it captures individuals' overall assessment about the attitude object, Please remember, and that is the extent to which the individual rates the attitude object. So how I rate my feeling, how I rate my disposition for that individual object, attitude object, whether it is favorable or whether it is unfavorable. So that's what is an affective component of tri-component attitude model. Under the tri-component attitude model, the third component is the cognitive component. It's all about the likelihood that the specific action or a behavior that a consumer takes, which is as expected by you towards the attitude object. So attitude object may be your product or the brand. So after you have information, you have analyzed the information, you have developed a feeling which is favorable or unfavorable, based on which what may be your behavior towards that attitude objective, that what may be your behavioral, this thing is a cognitive component of the tri-component model. Cognitive component is frequently treated as an expression of the consumer's intention to buy. Intention to buy is very important. You would have noticed in many surveys, etc. Even if you have purchased the product, the survey which conducted after that, at the end also they will ask you, given a choice, will you buy this product again in future? Will you buy this product from us only in future? Will you recommend this product to others? So these are those kind of attitude understanding kind of a probing that they are doing through you. So attitude component, the tri-component attitude model, cognitive, affective and cognitive components we have studied. It gives you through an example. I have taken an example of a chocolate. So cognitive could be a good chocolate improves my day. That's a cognition. If I get to eat a good chocolate, I feel my day is made. Affective, chocolate melting in my mouth brings that tranquility, tranquil feeling in my this thing. That's why I feel very positive about. I am eating chocolate now. That's the behavioral. I purchased a chocolate and I am eating a chocolate now. So very simple way to express you this tri-component model through an example. I hope it makes the relevant sense for you. Moving on, the second model, components of the attitude model, is a single component attitude model. Is a second framework. Here, affective state or affective component is considered as the only component that determines the attitude of an individual, overall assessment of the attitude object. So when I get exposed to, what is my feeling that I develop, what is the likes, dislike that I develop about it, comes out. Overall assessment, whether plus, minus, favorable, unfavorable, that's the only thing happens when you get exposed. So that's why the single component model believes that it is the affective component which is a driver of attitude. So that's the single aspect out here. This model, consumer attitude towards several competing, trying to give you an example, say insurance companies, if we take, following this model, a consumer attitude towards several competing insurance company would be equal to individuals' overall reaction to the competitive merit. For example, good versus bad, positive versus negative, favorable versus unfavorable of the insurance companies being considered. That is, the customers evokes it. So when you put up the name of the insurance company, consumer will give you only the affective component evaluation. They will tell you good, bad, this company is good, this bad, positive, negative views, etc., favorably poised or unfavorably poised. That is what is will revealed. And so they believe that the single component, which is an affective component, is a driver of attitude. So the major emerging limitation of a single component attitude model is that it fails to provide you answers to the why behind a specific attitude. Why? That doesn't come out. So that's a bigger limitations of this model.